So how does the PSO aid in the growth of the community, and how do we produce our own growth out of that? I think that we talk a lot about the community in this way. How do we reach folks from age 4 to 104 with our limited budget, but our influence that belies our budget? The Portland Symphony Orchestra, at the end of the day, is a small nonprofit organization. If you compare even the largest symphony orchestras in the country to, say, the budget size of a very small liberal arts college, you'll see that really we are smaller financial institutions across the board. Having said that, when you are the city's orchestra, typically you then are the sort of leader artistically, in the performing arts anyway, and you have a real pulpit to speak from, a bully pulpit. So we try and use both of those things together. We talk about the nuts and bolts, the finances, and we talk about our influence and how we can reach people and grassroots efforts through our musicians, through our connections with music educators, our connections with local arts and other leaders, government leaders, of course, school leaders, and how can we reach as many folks as possible.
The orchestra needs leadership to know the other nonprofits in the area, to know who's doing good work, and to know what the needs of the community are. We need that kind of awareness and fundraising opportunities, and I think it serves a tremendous purpose in our local communities for the orchestra to be actively involved and for the musicians to feel a part of that community.
Well, we consider ourselves to be the beneficiaries of this collaboration with Kinder Concerts because we get to have them on site. We also get to be a guest host site, so we have other schools that do come to attend the performance, so that we see that it's a vibrant performing arts rich community for our school.
The role of the composer in the life of the orchestra today is that he or she should be really active and as a speaker and kind of promoter of the cause in a way. I mean, the composers are actually make the art form living, and that's got to be communicated. If there's a vibrant dynamic between the orchestra, composer, and the audience, there should be a dialogue, and there should be a lot of ideas bouncing back and forth, and really the composer is the facilitator for that, as well as writing the music. My hope for the future of the orchestra is that it stays vital and real and doesn't become a museum institution, that people really try very hard to keep engaged and make the orchestra a relevant institution in the community. I mean, one of the great things about the Portland Symphony was these educational concerts is that they had the kids write poetry and write musical compositions and do visual art work that came together, and nothing is more relevant than having people involved in the creative experience.
I've been thrilled to attend a number of Kinder concerts where the orchestra members are performing for 4 to 7-year-olds. It's just an extraordinary time to watch those faces light up and people without any inhibitions get involved in music that we might take very seriously and think you have to sit very quietly and listen to, and they get up and dance and sing and interact with the music and interact with the musicians. So it's a vital community resource for education. It's a vital community resource in presenting music that people like me know and love and think offer extraordinary opportunities to people to experience firsthand. There's just nothing like live performance of orchestral music.
We need to preserve our culture and our civilization by focusing on what happens at the ground roots level, which is our children. And if we let that go, we are in peril of losing the whole thing.
If the symphony wants to exist in the future, if young violinists that I teach want to even conceive of performing for a living, we have to have an educated audience for them to play for. And part of our mission as performers is to educate and bring our art to the next generation of listeners. It's important for young people to have opportunities that are friendly and appropriate for their listening, to learn and become exposed to classical music.
Well, I think the Portland Symphony has a really exciting future ahead of it, and I think that's going to be important. These are the size of orchestra and the kind of orchestra around the country that I think are going to really pioneer what classical music, what art music in the symphonic realm is going to look like in the next 20, 30, 50 years. In that regard, it's going to be really important to watch and to be a part of, because it's also going to affect the way our students pursue careers. I mean, you see members of the Symphony who are very entrepreneurial. Our students are going to have to develop that same entrepreneurial streak, even as members of an organization like the Portland Symphony Orchestra, and that in turn is going to affect the orchestra and make it better and a more exciting place to perform, to work, with more opportunities for musicians.